Okay, so this match we've chosen to cast may not happen. Or maybe it will. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out. So there's a guy named Larry, and he says he's the same Larry from the T3nt 2v2 tournament back in the day, and I'm trying to do some Googling right now, but if I recall, I think Pure Legacy and Larry were the team that got disqualified for cheating. Or not disqualified, or they got caught cheating, or I can't remember how it went. Hacks or something? He's saying my partner used hacks and got banned for it. And there's no cheating during any tournaments. I played with him. I've never cheated. Okay, I gotta Google this shit. Alright. Pure Legacy and Larry cheating. Pure Legacy admits using map hacks. Cheating. Alright, what's this Reddit thread? Years ago I deleted. Yeah, one saying this guy. Well, it's not Larry necessarily, but hi, Larry here. Most of you don't know or care who I am. I'm right to those who do have a negative perception of me because of Pure Legacy recently hacked. This got back from 21-day trip, consequently before the hacking incident. I was in Skype with Pure Legacy during the 2v2 Team Cup, blah blah blah. I can say certainty Pure Legacy did not hack any tournament we competed in. I understand my words mean nothing to you, blah blah blah. I'm trying to think Pure Legacy is before the time. Okay, I'm looking at the replies, I'm looking at these threads, and it doesn't seem like Larry has been accused of anything. It was just his teammate, who I guess is banned now, and allegedly is not the same person he's playing with right now. We'll let this go for now, but if any suspicious activity comes up, like in the slightest, I think we're gonna take a zero tolerance policy on this, just because there is a history here. Oh, this makes me really uncomfortable, but alright. Guys, make his name T3nt. The other half of the problem here is I told him, you know, there's no barcodes allowed in our tournaments. The only people that are allowed to use barcodes are people we verify, and I don't think he can understand that, but we'll just let this go because I want to get the games going for today. Like I said, if there's any issues whatsoever, we're gonna have a zero tolerance policy. I T3nt. Alright, well, the first matchup is going to be a combination of Awers and Arctur versus T3nt and Larry by the looks of it. And the winner of this goes on to fight against you Thermal and a Laser, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Follow that to maybe Hearthstone Lambo or something like that. There should be some pretty good brackets to go through here, but looks like everybody's about ready, so let's just get going into the Shrines of Lizul. The Shrines of Lizul. I'm not sure what the heck this is. I don't know any of the 2v2 maps at all, so we're gonna... I've played a couple of these with like Nate and dicked around, but I've not like done any like hardcore 2v2 anything, so this will be really interesting to see. But yeah, let me know in chat who you guys really want us to, or well, I guess me in this case, to cast. I'm totally happy to jump sides of the bracket and do other things, but as you can see, we've switched to the WCS 3.0 overlay because it sadly does have the best 2v2 overlay for it. Looks like despite his name change, T3nt didn't go through on the overlay, which is unfortunate. But anyway, spawning at the top right side, we got the red and blue team of Terrans, the combination of Awers and Arctur. Oh, I love that card, but it's just like nom, nom, nom. Bottom side of the map, we got a combination of Larry and his barcode partner, apparently an NA player named T3nt. And I guess this is two Protosses versus two Terrans, and oh, we got some cheesy BS right off the bat, maybe. Well, no, it's a gateway coming in home. I take it back. I got excited seeing probes just for some good scouting. This is how you should play the game. But I was gonna, oh, a gas steal on top of it. I was just gonna say, one of the big things about 2v2 is you can not really depend on normal strategies here. And what I mean by this is things like gas stealing is a lot more viable. Things like cannon rushes are a lot more likely. So for all players involved, it is just a matter of like knowing that. I hope like the 1v1 strategies are really right out the window, and there should be like maps like this where you're kind of separated, like you're close enough together but you're kind of separated. It's kind of easy to gang up on one person when that's the case. Now the gas steal I really like out of the two teammates here. It looks like they planned and coordinated the way they wanted to do that. This kind of guarantees there's not going to be a lot of early game shenanigans. You know, you can't really afford to proxy a factory and still get a starport and do your cyclone all at the same time if you were thinking on that when you've only got the one gas to work with, right? Not so fun to do, especially if you're trying to pull it off in a 2v2. So taking the gas here on both sides guarantees that T3nt, who are typically a little bit bullshit, we'll say, with their cyclones at times, won't get that opportunity to do so. Now, granted, cyclones and mech and other strategies are a lot more viable in 2v2. What's really cool, and this is why I actually enjoy playing it too, but when we cast the 2v2 tournaments in the past, we would see a lot of cool strategies, right? And when I say cool, sometimes it's sarcastic, but for example, when the Protoss would play Mass Phoenix, and I don't mean like Phoenix mixed with Adepts, but just people going straight up Mass Phoenix worked, and it worked well because they were accompanied by other units from their partner who would provide the equivalent to the Adepts or the Storms, whatever you would normally have underneath those Phoenix, right? So I really don't know what to call for strategy. We haven't hosted a 2v2 tournament in a very long time, so I don't quite know how this will look in terms of wait, title T. Oh, I see. You guys are trying to bamboozle me by telling me the title T, the name on the overlay. So I was finishing my point. We don't know what we're going to see here because things are just, it's different and times have changed quite a bit. So we see some stalkers poking up and getting really aggressive with the mothership core. Going to put down that pylon for an overcharge. And looks like the Widowmine and the Marines dealt with some of the stalker pressure already, which is good. Bunker was coming down here hoping to prevent precisely this, but when the doors open up for Arctur, it's going to be up to his partner Awers to get over there and help defend. Now, let's say these pylons help break the depots, right? And two mothership cores with two overcharges is actually kind of insane to consider. That gets through the wall. Can he actually kill his opponent once through the wall? The thing is, there's another command center here on the low ground. Cyclone's coming out, Bunker on the high ground. Arctur's responding to this pretty much exactly as he should, but it's double the trouble. There's twice as many stalkers, a second mothership core. We got proxy gateway coming down too. And it looks like, I'm not sure what he was attacking there, but it wasn't the stalkers for the moment as he fully mass repairs this cyclone. What is Awers doing while this goes on, right? Like setting up his own bunker. He doesn't want to get bust himself, but he's not helping his ally. There's a single Widowmine out here catching some of the stalkers, but unless he's funneling money and sending money over to his ally, he's not providing any assistance whatsoever, and Arctur's in a lot of trouble. Second cyclone pops out in a second, though. He's done a great job holding on with what he has. I'm not sure if he just wants to finish or cancel the bunker at this point. Maybe get some extra cash back. Cyclone's very good at killing stalkers. He has kind of dealt with the threat for now, but looks like Awers actually went aggressive to the other side of the field. So Widowmine popped off over here, and a couple of these Marines chasing off the probes. This is why we don't see additional barcodes, additional warp-ins coming out of the barcode. T3nt is actually kind of just out of cash. So both Arctur and T3nt took some pretty heavy economic damage through this, but I think the difference is it's going to be a lot more difficult for T3nt to clean this up. No detection, one base. Arctur has two command centers, and he's actually mining with these mules. I think his income situation is going to be fine. So Awers did a fantastic job by counterattacking behind this. And he's also doing a little bit of sweet medevac micro too. I like the stalkers. They split their shots to try and prevent the medevac from doing precisely this, but yo, this is some like super sick 3 Marine micro here. While this goes on, of course, he had to deal with an Oracle, so not all is well back on the other side of the field. And the SCV count for both players is just in the gutter. Right now, Larry's got a nice 23 probe count going, but everybody else on the field sitting around like 10 workers-ish. But the beauty is, with the economy of Arctur recovering, he can actually start funneling some money back over to his ally too. That is a pretty important dynamic in 2v2 we don't see a lot of, so we don't get to talk too much about. Oh, and the Widowmine shot goes off. Where you can send resources to your ally. Back in the day, we had this really amazing team, Lily Canine and Donna. And they had this weird strategy where Lily Canine just went like mass command centers and no army units whatsoever. And he just funneled money over to Donna to make mass roaches, and that was it. And it worked, and it was like really cool to see things like that. So keep in mind, guys, no matter how destroyed the economy gets, these guys can help each other out. But I was about to get another good hit with his Widow Mine, and more probes gonna go down. T3nt is kind of out of the equation at this point. I don't think he's gonna be presenting much of a problem. And I think combination Cyclones and what looks to be the army out of Awers should be good to hold. And Larry, I can't do this alone. GG gets called, and Team Terran will take the first victory of the day. Not too bad. Now it is loser's pick, so it'll be up to these guys to pick what they want me to host next. I'm just gonna call them Team Larry, because I don't actually know if they have a proper team name or not. But okay. Wait for their say-so to get to the next game. What's worse than a pylon rush? A double pylon rush. I mean, that was kind of brutal to look at. And kind of scary to see as well. So I'm just getting on Twitter because I got a tweet about what's going on too. If you guys could do me a favor, I'd really appreciate any retweets today, especially on account of the fact that I am working YOLO solo. Optimus is recruiting for his PUBG team while he waits to play his games and his matches. Alright, they want a map called Arctic Gates. I actually have played this one as well. And it's got a weird path between the bases. Let me get the lobby up and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm actually, I really have no stake in who wins, and I have no bias towards like whether I want one team to win more than the other. But I will just say it's really cool seeing some of our regulars come out, right? Like you got Hearthstone, Laser, who Laser plays fairly enough. Same with Nurchio and Beastie, but Awers, for example, is a guy I love seeing. He's been kind of on the up and coming as far as our radar goes. People chat want to know where Lily Canine is. So I believe Lily Canine's on vacation this month or something. He had asked us to host another 2v2 tournament like next month when he's home. So I'm guessing that's why he was unavailable for today. But as everyone's saying, they're ready, so let's get into it. Remember, guys, I didn't put it proper on the overlay, but it is a best of 5, not a best of 3. So I'll try and fix that for this game as we hop into the Arctic Gates. Something, The Wall, Game of Thrones reference. Anyways, I guess I can try and describe this on the load screen, but there's a weird path that goes between the bases, guys, and one of the parts of this is like, if you're Terran, I guess you can kind of abuse Liberators right off the bat. If you're Protoss, you can abuse Tempests, but you'll see what we mean as we get into it more, because I guess I can't... Oh, I can't write best of 5 down there. I wasn't actually sure if you could. Up 1... Wait a minute. Oh, it's just the colors. I'm like, wait, why did they not spawn together? This makes no sense. But okay, as we answered before, it's best of 5. Spawning here on the rightmost side of the map, you got Team Larry, made up of both Larry and his partner T3nt, or I guess he has another name chat is referring to him as, so I don't know if this is Hardwell or T3nt or what he wants to be called. Left side of the map, we got Arctur and his ally, Awers. But yeah, once again, for those asking where Zombie Grub is, she may just be sleeping in today. Like I had mentioned, part of what I had said to her last night, I can actually, well, I don't see it as saying, hey, we're not doing anything in the morning. I can understand how she would have interpreted it as such. So yeah, at the moment, Zombie Grub is not here, and I don't actually know if she will be, but it would certainly be cool if she ended up coming to join later. Either way, the 2v2 tournament will still go on. Because, let's be honest, guys, I hate all this downtime, and I want to do stuff with y'all. Also got to earn that sub count back, guys. It's a sinking ship. I got that bucket, right? We're trying to bail that water out one pail at a time, but down to 959 subscribers now. Will this be the end of BaseTradeTV? Tune in next week to find out. Well, actually, if you tune in next week, you probably won't have to worry about BaseTrade going away. So, yeah, just come back. Insert shout out to follow the channel and all that. Anyways, I gotta say, Awers Arctur had a pretty cool response to that last game. I think if it was me, I'd be freaking out, and I wouldn't have had anything close to a hold against 2 stalkers and 2 mothership cores, but Arctur gets some cool bonus points for that. Awers' attack to go across the map and counter, knowing there'd be nothing at home because they were all in Arctur's base, was also a very intelligent move. This time around, though, as we can see, they're clearly not being quite so cheesy. A lot more staying at home, and of course you get the expansions. I talked about showing the middle of the map, and this really is the distance from base to base right here as far as by air goes. If you want to go by ground, you have to actually go all the way around, make this weird F shape, and come up here. So there are some back rocks you can take and eventually knock down, but what I kind of like about the map design here is the way they put the sensor tower in your base, and you can really use it to not see the middle of the map. That's what this sensor tower is for, but see whether you're going to get attacked from the back or not and try and prepare for it. Playing 2v2s infrequently has taught me a couple of annoying things about the map, though, where the sensor tower can sometimes be a bit of a detriment, right? Like, you'll leave a Marine here scouting and you'll see a big army amassing down here, not realizing the other player has split and they're actually attacking you, one on top, one on the bottom. And you and your ally will usually just respond to what you see, so by the time you've moved down here to attack and defend, they've moved up here and started killing your expansions. So it can be a little bit annoying, but the map layout is cool, and I think it's quite interesting. Anyways, looks like we did get some tweet love, so thank you guys so much for that. What's that, about 5 retweets and 6 likes? Oh, feels good, man. Feels good, man. In the meantime, though, I'm actually really curious what race combination takes the tournament. Like, you've got a bunch of people here who are mixing it up, right? You got Nurture and BC, both like some of the best Terran and best Zerg of their respective sides, right? But then you got double race teams like this, like Awers Arctur, and really, like, at the end of the day, is 2 times the Terran more powerful than skilled players? Oh, right, I have to pause. So 3, 2, 1.
Game resumed.
I keep forgetting I have all these additional responsibilities now, because when Zombie Grub is here and she's being referee mom, she handles all this and I don't have to worry about it. Anyways, no, sincerely, I do appreciate all the help on Twitter, guys. Thank you, Jimmy Schmo9, for that 17-month resub, by the way. And I guess after this game, we'll get caught up, because there's a couple of people who subbed brand new while the stream was offline, and that's actually pretty fantastic to see. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people who subbed while the stream was offline. Feels good, man. Anyways, as we can see here, just pretty normal opening for the time being. Looks like they were going to do some mothership core shenanigans again, but they're not going to get away with it, so that's going to be put on pause. I'm really curious, though, and this brings up the topic of Awers specifically for me, whether we'll see mech or not, right? Ooh, is this actually going to... Okay, that's not going to deny the command center. That would be annoying. But I asked this question because Awers had pumped out a lot of Marines, so last game was like a little bit more desperation than it was like effective strategy. So he's generally a mech player in 1v1s, but maybe not the case here for 2v2s. Although I think mech's even more viable in 2v2s, so I don't know. Either way, they are well defended against this early pylon attack. A little annoying actually have to deal with 2 mothership cores attacking your mineral line, though. Now fully aware of just the damage this can cause. Looks like one of the mothership cores will go down for this. Poor Hardwell, or Tent, or whatever the hell he wants to be known as, takes a pretty nasty early game loss, but he's going to try to make up with that here with the Oracle. Medevac also going across the map. We're going to have a lot of action. This unfortunately does take away from the defenses of these two, but I think with a Cyclone and a couple of Marines, it should be okay. There'll be some deaths, but we'll see how many. Oh, Pylon not prepared in the mineral line. It's up here on the north side. If the mothership core pops that early, then ours will just walk away from this. And this Pylon's going to die before it gets built, so this is a lot of lost/denied mining. Oracle comes in, immediate pickup, drops over here instead. Of course, you can juke out the Oracle for a bit of time, because it's limited by energy. can't shoot up. So good bait out of ours once again. More denied mining here out of Larry. And kept being disruptive for both sides though, because of course red, aka ours, had a bit of harass on his side, but with the Oracle having come back on, this looks a lot more manageable. Second Medevac comes over to back this up. 2 Cyclones, 2 times the power, 2 times the terror. The Mothership Core goes down, or not Mothership, excuse me, Medevac goes down, so now it's only the Mothership Core and the Stalkers to defend, and those are already pushed back. I don't know if there's enough here to necessarily threaten this Nexus. I think the Phoenix would start picking this stuff up, of course, but a Viking comes over, which is wholly and entirely unconventional. We also have this Liberator heading over to this mineral line, so these Phoenix are going to have to pull back from the front lines, stop defending temporarily to stop the Liberator, because it sets up right on top of the Nexus, so it's going to kill a lot of probes. Cyclone has temporarily been removed. Mothership Core still dies. Liberator denies a lot of mining, and it's just crazy action going on in the Protoss base right now. Keep in mind, folks, every match today, including the finals, is a best of 5 as we just kind of wiggle through the brackets. So it's got to be tough, you know? Is this like a pretty harsh loss in game 1? They just took a lot of damage here in game 2. As far as where they're all at, though, funny enough, like the worker count wasn't really touched much through that. Could have been so much worse than it was, but 39 probes, 30 to 35 SCVs, and 31. So 2 bases each. A third coming down for our blue Protoss is the first one to hit 3. Sky Toss seems to be the name of the game here for T3nt. He's just going to be going Mass Phoenix, which this is going to be so annoying for T3nt in general. Then you add in the fact that it's against 2 T3nt, maybe it won't be as bad. I mean, the problem is, though, when one player... We talked about this in game 1, right? When one player is allowed to just go Mass Phoenix, they don't have to worry about microing their Blade Stalkers or having a depths in position or anything like this. It's just a matter of coming in and picking up every unit possible and, frankly, dealing as much damage as you can while your ally does all the tough ground micro, if you will. Also, I'm getting a response from Match Arena about the codes today. Codes don't have names anymore. You need to use the overlay in the admin options. What? Okay, I guess Match Arena may have changed some stuff up. We'll have to look into that, I guess, as time goes on. I'll try to keep an eye on the game, but if I can fish out another $100 for the prize today, I want to make sure to try and do that. Anyways, we do have Mech coming out of ours, and this was kind of what I was hoping to see. I think he's a really fantastic Mech player. Good up-and-coming Ukrainian, and he's shown some pretty good games in the past. I think the Thor's a really cool add-on to this, though. As my voice continues... Come on, voice. Don't die on me already. I think the Thor's really cool for a couple of different reasons, though. One, it has the range that Marines don't, that Cyclones don't, that Vikings don't. It's really hard to chase Phoenix down because you just can't usually catch them. On top of this, it is, of course, bonus damage to light. But while it's Mass Phoenix with Anion Pulse Crystals coming out, we did see a brief moment there of Carriers. Now, he may have canceled that because he wants production of units for now, but he may be transitioning into that a little bit later. We will soon find out. This Terran army's looking pretty good, though. I think the Mass Stalkers aren't going to have a whole lot to say, and the Widow Mines combined with the Thor should keep the Phoenix from running too rampant over the army. Yeah, I mean, like one shot from the Thor takes out all the shields. It's basically an EMP on top of the Phoenix. Guardian shields help him do a lot of damage. These Widow Mines don't all get to burrow, but a couple do, so shots get fired, but it is a friendly fire. A lot of the Marines, splash damage being what it is, ends up being devastating. The Stalkers blink into the dead zone of the tank. Thor's getting picked off too, and the Terran attack is wholly and entirely stopped dead in its tracks. Now, the really scary thing for our Terrans is this counterattack that's marching down the map. Missile turrets are going down out of desperation, but what do they have to deal with the Stalkers? I mean, granted, the Phoenix are scary all on their own, but, like, you have to deal with those and these Stalkers. And on top of this, our barcode T3nt is transitioning to Carriers. Marines to get some shots in. Some of the Phoenix get picked off right away. Widow Mine's looking for those perfect hits. Get a couple of good ones. Nothing too crazy, though. Stalkers are probably going to have to pull a little bit back from this. There's just no easy way to fight those Liberators without the Phoenix taking them out. So, scooping up the Marines, removing some of the Widow Mines, this is all good stuff. But with the Thor down here, these Phoenix have a limited staying time. A limited staying power, if you will. The Thor will eventually just zone them out. So pretty hefty losses on both sides for this, but good defense out of the Terran, the same way the Protoss had a good defense on their side of the field. The power of 2. But while they're well defended down here to the south, not so much on this side. So the Stalkers managed to blink in. I don't know how much they can really do, though. Picking off some of the buildings for sure, but, you know, the SCVs were pulled. This is where we start seeing the SCV kills. Widowmine gets a pop-off. It's not much. SCV count now down to 30, so it's probably about 20 or so lost to this attack. Unfortunately, there's no, like, workers lost tab like there normally is. They pick off the Observer, so there's no more hopping back up. Now if those Stalkers blink out, they're staying out. Actually getting some pretty good damage in here. And they will push this off. Meanwhile, a couple Stalkers at the front. They get caught. It looks like the perpetual tug-of-war will continue as Awers decides to march down the map. I don't know that he can really do this solo. I mean, don't get me wrong, Liberators are great, but of course there's going to be that air element here where there's a couple of Carriers and a couple of Phoenix. They do have that range upgrade. My fear is that T3nt may have too few Phoenix now, though. I like the idea to transition to the Carriers, but to do so may have been a little too costly and a little too much, so yeah. I guess if the Liberators are gone, though, Phoenix aren't necessary. Stalkers do a great job picking those off immediately. Initially. While this goes on, though, keep in mind, Terrans are on 3 bases, or 6 if you want to look at that. There's a Protoss base up here that they're going to find out by accident, so some probes are going to die to these Hellions. Carriers took a little while to bring over. I don't think there's the damage to deal with the Interceptors here. Normally you have a lot of Marines, so you stim them all down, and the Carriers don't even get a chance, but Thor transforms to try and take down the Carriers. Even with its bonus armor there for that +1, still goes down very quickly. Now it's Terran who's on the retreat once again in this awkward as heck tug-of-war, but I think now that Blue Protoss is on 4 carrier production at a time and starting to get those upgrades for them too, we're going to start seeing the Terran sweat a little bit. Upgrades are actually not looking so hot here for the Terran. I mean, weapon upgrades are great, but that's not going to make the Interceptors deal any less damage. Stalkers are still going to be hitting really hard. And of course with the Immortal mixed in too, that's going to be twice as nasty. Really, not a lot to be said in terms of units to defend with. We got Bio, of course, going to try and respond to the Carriers, pushing through to the main. They'll kill some of the Interceptors, but no way in hell they're going to be chasing down the Carriers. So it's worth noting that you can get enough Thors to start one-shotting Carriers at a point, but only if they're in single-target transformation mode. 2 God mode Widowmine's got some pretty good hits here on the Carriers, too, in the middle of the map. Watching production, though, we still continue to make Liberators. No one's going for Vikings. They're feeling too desperate. It's just going to be Bio for the anti-air with a Thor or 2. Not sure if that's going to cut it. We're just seeing the struggles right now. Widowmine shots maybe go off here, and this could be really nice. Good catch for the Terran, maybe. Kind of worried about the Interceptors doing friendly fire. These Widowmines somehow don't go off. It looks like the Stalker problem has, for the most part, been dealt with, and it's taken the Carrier so long to kill the command center that this hasn't been super devastating yet, but still 4 Carriers at a time behind this is the only production I can stare at. So everyone tries to wrap around one another. Base up here gets caught, so he's gonna have to lift it up, fly that away. As Carriers head back to the main. All these random Widowmine shots have really been the best thing going for the Terran, though. There's been no detection for quite some time now, so every time they get some shots off, it's always nice. Oh, well, these will take out a good chunk of the Interceptors, but the Thor as well. Rest in peace, bud. Hellions gonna do what they can because they know they can't shoot up. Just go for a run by. Take out some of the probes, maybe? Not a bad choice. Back at home, though. Back door about to be open. Rocks opened. The Bio's on the wrong side of the fight for this. People are chasing down the middle of the field and trying to deal with those Carriers, so ouch. This could really end up hurting. Yellow may just be able to deal the killing blow on these players as he gets to the production line of our Terran. Hey, Glibburp, thank you for the 21-month resub. Glad to see you enjoyed the TVT tournament. It's only just started. Wants to focus the Warp Prism. Great deny on those Warp-ins. A successful defense here against the Stalker should be made possible now without the additional reinforcements for Yellow, but of course, this doesn't change the looming threat. Look at everybody's supply count, right? Everyone's hovering around 100 supply, or has been around 100 supply for majority of this game. Whereas Blue's been sitting close to 167. Now he's moving towards max as 4 more Carriers come out. Mass Widow Mines with Drilling Claws seem to be the response here, and I actually don't think this is a bad one. There's some Mimi and Athenius moments where you just kind of walk Widow Mines under the carriers and let loose the Hounds of War, but at the same time, the Interceptors can get taken out by the Widow Mines pretty heftily. It's expensive to replace this many, but at the same time, you're not losing any units. It doesn't matter how expensive something is. Really, though, I don't think 6 Widow Mines at a time is even going to be enough to compete with this, though. Everyone here is trying their best to deal with this carrier army, and it's not happening. A lot of Interceptors still in play. How many carriers in total? This 13? 13 times 8. More Widow Mines here in the middle of the map. Still no reliable detection. Oh, wait, I guess there is. Is there an observer? I think it's an observer with this arm. We just can't see it. Yeah, it's right here behind the carriers, so... Ooh, the best thing they had going for them was the fact that there wasn't any detection. Widow Mines were a very real possibility to maybe bring this back. Look at them. There's so many of them. Mother of God. But even though they take out the Interceptors, it's like a very temporary solution. The Widow Mines are permanently dead. Blue can't get down here to chase the carriers, and I think we're just watching a slow bleed out. A very agonizing death of our Terrans here in Game 2. A lot of this has to do with the map terrain as well. You wouldn't be able to abuse these carriers the same way if, like, say there's a second ramp here, right? So it's a great choice out of T3nt to be using them in such a way, but... yeah. Bio, I feel so bad for him, man. Stuttering around here, he's like 1-2 on upgrades. If this was 3-3, this might be very different. I think... 3-3 with the odd Thor shot, the Widow Mines, and these Marines, I think you take care of those Interceptors and it's like a joke. But while everyone's distracted dealing with this, we have another attack up here to the north, and Larry comes in with not just Stalkers, but Templar as well. GG's get thrown down, and our Protoss tie things up now, 1-1. Also, a big hello, good morning, and thank you to Matt D for the 29-month resub. 2v2v2v2v2v2. Alright, guys, I'm gonna go to commercial break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Game number 3 when we return. Alright, we're back, and look who I found, everybody! Woo! Oh, wait, why is your... yeah, your regions are messed up. Let me fix that. Boom. Hello, Zombie Grub. How are you doing this fine Sunday morning?
Could be better. I'm alright.
I think that's actually a pretty, like... I don't know if there's ever a time someone could not say could be better. Like, it could literally always be better. Like, it could have more money, could be sunnier, could be rainier, whatever, like, floats your boat.
That's true. But it could also, you know, usually when people say, like, could be better, but I'm okay, usually means, like, yeah, things aren't the greatest.
Did you see there was that, how to speak, well, what was it, like Wisconsin or Minnesotan or something? That video, it was like on the front page of Reddit. Let's talk about how it's all negatives like that, right? Nobody would ever say, like, oh, I'm not feeling good. They just say, could be better. Like,
yeah, I didn't get to watch it.
Ah, that's a pretty good video. Well, I hope you're feeling good enough to do some 2v2s at least, because we are now on game 3 of this best of 5.
Okay.
Things are tied up 1-1, and it's T3nt versus Protoss. And you can have all the host powers now, Mom. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to be a grown-up.
No one likes being called Mom. What are people doing?
Oh, I guess you gotta move Arctur up, and I'll invite Larry. Sorry, I was in the middle of inviting people. Anyways, yeah, so it's game 3 for anyone just joining us here on the brackets. We're still in the round of 16. The winner of this will go up against you Thermal and a Laser. I'm very excited for that. Top side of the bracket, though, I think has a really good potential. I almost wanted to cast the other series of Tamikas and his partner and Akron and his partner, because it goes on, of course, to fight BC Cutie and Nurchio. But apparently BC is going to be streaming his games. So while we're not going to be casting that, you guys can still totally watch them, and I would highly recommend doing so, because apparently he's actually on Skype with Nurchio for their games. Which I just honestly hope involves a lot of fighting. If we're going to be completely honest.
I think it would involve more fighting if it was Archon mode.
Very true. Also, I don't know if we did miss any of those subs, but I'm going to do that quick round off like I promised after that last game, guys. So before that, in the bottom right, Team T3nt, combination of the red Awers and the blue Arctur.
And on the top left has the yellow Protoss. It's Larry. and the
Oh,
teal Protoss.
We're going with T3nt.
Oh, tent?
Yeah, so I told him, like, we don't allow
Okay.
barcodes, make a clan tag, and apparently he's got a different name, but he's going with T3nt, so we're just going with T3nt. But
Yeah, I was gonna say Hardwell. This was on the bracket.
yeah, apparently. There's a little bit of potential controversy, too, because I was asking about this, like, is this the same Lariat from the Ting 2v2 tournament? Because I recall there being some drama back then, and I actually Googled it on stream, and him and Pure Legacy won, but of course, Pure Legacy was evidently cheating Larry, through best I could tell, through every Reddit thread and every search result, had nothing to do and even didn't realize his ally was cheating type thing. So we've allowed him to play through today, but if there's any fishy activity whatsoever, anything questionable, zero tolerance on it because of the past history. But we'll give him a shot and hope for the best.
Cool. Well, it's cool to see all the 2v2 teams sign up, I guess.
Yeah, I was actually, that's another thing you missed, right? I saw it at the start of the stream. Normally, you have like 16 people sign up for a tournament, but like 6 actually check in to play. All 12 out of 12 teams signed up, checked in.
I guess they thought they all really had a good shot.
Just a little more passion for 2v2? I don't know. I like to imagine for the pros, this is the closest to a vacation they can get while playing. Kind of a little bit laid back, but still competitive, still some money on the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that. I mean, some of them actually use the, of course, the 1v1 to actually be, like, practice competitive, so it's like a good part of their day. But certainly having, I don't know, a casual way of playing is cool, too.
Well,
Sure.
we do have a proxy coming out of Larry. We actually haven't seen anything this cheesy. I will tell you, even though it didn't work out for the Protoss Zombie Grove, Game 1 involved a, oh wow. Game 1 involved a double Mothership Core, double Pylon Rush. It's pretty gross.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But the double robo here is really interesting to me, and I'm wondering if this is going to involve his ally funneling him some resources, because I don't think you can properly produce off 2 in one base.
If you literally produce something else, I mean, there's usually gateway units with this, so I think it is actually possible, but it would also be cooler either if there's a funneling of minerals and gas, or he's the one that provides the gateway units.
Yeah, that was my thought here. I think this guy will maybe just provide the fodder, so to speak, and these will be like the immortals to break down the wall type thing. But
yeah,
regardless of what the combination here is going to be, I do wish there was some way to tell on the UI, like, oh, they're funneling resources over, because we'll never know other than guessing or suddenly seeing a spike of 1,000 minerals go one way.
yeah. I mean, two immortals at a time is pushing to take most of your income on one base, but I feel like it's possible. So far, not breaking up that ramp through the Cyclone. TT versus PP. But this is actually, you know, mostly distraction. Those immortals come into the back. A Warp Prism warps in the back, and this could be bad. It looks like Proxy Gateway. I guess this isn't co-op. You can't use your partner's Warp Prism?
Right.
Warp in? Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, this is going to get scouted, and I don't think ours is going to stop. I think for him, he's just banking on everything being across the map right now. Everything focused on this little scuffle down here. So when he goes for this drop, he was hoping, I think, nothing would be at home, but there's a Mothership Core and well-placed pylons.
As I said, it's never going to be true of a Protoss player. Oh, but they're paying attention. I wouldn't mind.
It was in Game 1, by the way. The double Mothership Core attack with the double pylons left a big opening, and I think that's what they were hoping for this game, but unfortunately not quite the case. And it looks like some decent Warp Prism micro manages to outlive the Cyclone.
They should be suspicious seeing that Warp Prism on an Immortal over there this early.
Hey, actually, was that scouted yet? They're still not spotted it, but they're going to find out about this now as the Immortals move in. Oh, 3 Immortals like this is pretty scary for a small Terran army like this.
It is all Marines though, so they should really just pop in, get the the barrier, and then just leave.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, Warp Prism's gonna go down here too.
Good.
Viking's gonna give chase.
Protection. I mean, I think this is another important part is really missing, and that's the teal players not quite been helping yet. They've just been waiting for a bigger army to actually break up that ram.
Right, this is where the Immortals should probably come into play, but they of course can't shoot up. They can only help remove the tanks, the Cyclone. Because Blink comes up, and that's one way to get around this. Yeah, waiting for Blink also ends up working out, but he has to wait for it again to get up on the actual high ground of the base. Yeah, Arctur probably should not have pushed out this far to defend.
This might just be what kills the T3nt team.
Well, they picked the right base to attack into. If they had gone down, Arctur didn't have the same defenses that ours had set up, right? No bunker, no tanks. So, all things considered, this was probably the best defense they could have hoped for, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Well, those Immortals took a lot of damage. The Stalkers, actually, a lot of them lost their lives. The tanks were able to get a couple shots off, and they ran through a Liberator Circle for like 70% of that fight. They're going to try a different avenue of attack, but the barriers are only barely up.
I was going to say, thank God for that barrier too. That Immortal almost got popped off immediately. Still dies nonetheless, but it's, for me, less about the Immortals at this point. It's just this Stalker armor they got to deal with, and it's Blink Stalkers on top of that.
I feel like production should be the one favoring out here. I mean, this is enough of an army to help take care of maybe both Terrans, but I'm not sure. I feel like ours' army is not that bad.
What if Immortals could blink, dude? Oh my god.
They literally don't have that spell anywhere. Not even in co-op. So that's a hard no, apparently. So they take a lot of their ideas from co-op and campaign.
Alright, well, it wasn't a super serious question, but tank goes down, bunker's the last form of defense. The SUVs are not repairing as the Liberator falls apart. This is still very, very back and forth. I'm kind of jaded because the Immortal can be dealt with a potential SUV pull. The Stalkers, not so much. Oh, but they don't get to the bunker in time, and the Stalkers body block them.
I mean, it's going to be really tough for the T3nt to give up because, like, at one time, either of them aren't being attacked, but there it is. There's
the tap out. Team Protoss now take a lead in this series, 2-1. Zombie so disgusted with that display of Protossism, just physically had to leave. She's got to walk it off.
Yeah, right? That wasn't the grossest Protoss I've ever seen. Not even close.
Oh, but it was a good win for the team. I wasn't sure if that proxy would work in a TV2.
Yeah, I'm still like uncertain if it really should have worked. Say the T3nt team not realizing what's happening really contributed to their ultimate demise, but also just one of them being so far out to defend should have been all together.
Oh my god. Do you mind hosting, by the way, or should I keep hosting?
I don't mind hosting.
Okay, good, because I wanted to show off this amazing tweet I just saw of an All Might cosplay. If you guys don't watch Hero Academy, you won't understand this, but this is like my favorite anime right now, and this is the best. This is the best cosplay combination of the actual cosplayer with the reaction from the other guy who's also playing somebody from the show. So good. Oh, I fucking love shit like this. 10 out of 10.
Wait. I thought that was 1-1.
Pardon me?
I thought that was 1-1.
It was 1-1, so that's 2-1 for the Protoss. It's a best of 5.
Oh, because that's not what it says on the bracket. Oh, it actually says that on the bracket, but not the rules. Oh, okay.
I think there's just copy pasted from Corsair Cup
I was
stuff.
wondering where the mess was. Yeah, probably.
Anyways, while it's been going on, $25 gets added to the prize pot today from Diet Soda. Diceode. Buck. Thank you for the $25, man. This is already super fun. Go BC/Nurchio. Well, hopefully we'll catch them soon enough for you, dude. Cast and Hellraiser are going up against Optimus and Soul. That's another matchup I would love to cast all of these just because, like, it's my favorite European players competing today.
Woohoo! I got important stuff.
Let's say, is it like an awesome package?
It's not a package. It's full of adult things.
Oh, dude, I got 2 of those too. One's, hey, by the way, you fucked up on your taxes, so now you have to remit monthly instead of quarterly. And the other's like, here's a package you got to pick up, but you got to pay $30 because you're fucking Canadian. Enjoy your fucking duties and taxes fee. Fuck.
I just got my ID and my credit card.
Oh, that's right. You lost all that with your phone. That sucks, dude.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't suck anymore. I'm glad you got your stuff back.
Well, I still don't have a phone. That kind of sucks.
Zombie Girl, can you cover up the crucial information and show us your picture on your ID?
Yeah, I guess so.
Everyone's ID picture is always the worst. I want to see what yours looks like.
So I finally have a horizontal ID too. Like I've had a vertical one because I never got a new one.
Was that the same picture from your old one?
Yeah.
Why didn't you get a new picture? You had the opportunity to get a new picture.
Why would I willingly go to the DMV and get a new picture if I don't have to?
Because in fairness, if I looked at that ID, like I'm a bouncer at a club, and I look at you, I'm like, this is a fake ID. You look nothing like this person.
I used my old ID that was even vertical, which means I'm under 21 for the last 8 years, and no one cares.
God damn it, America. You need to care at some point.
No one cares.
All right,
This
folks.
feels fancy.
We continue through the best of 5. There's no real sponsor to it. We just put the Twitch money that we've been allotted towards it. So big thank you to Twitch for giving us the freedom to do little off tournaments like this. $100 in the pot, but of course you guys have helped us raise another 30 on top of it, which is awesome. As we hop into game number 4. Spotting the top left, we got the red T3nt player, Awers, with his ally, who is spawning to his right. There we go, to guess. It's Arctur.
Yeah. In the bottom left, as the teal Terran is on the
Wait.
bottom. Sorry, that was bottom right. That was my bad.
Okay.
In the bottom right, has the blue Protoss. It is Tent. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what we're going with that.
And the bottom left has the yellow Protoss. It is Larry.
That was like Rifkin levels of bad intro, dude.
That wasn't that. No. Okay, you
Wrong
trip
side,
over like
wrong color,
every
wrong
single.
race, like.
Oh well, the problem was that I was. I guess I was still like on the actually Arctur, so that's why I paused. I was like, wait a second, he just did Arctur, like what's happening? And then I realized you had swapped cameras twice, and I was like, oh.
Well, because I was trying to you said bottom left, so I'm like,
I know.
okay.
I know. Oh well. Anyways, I actually started watching My Hero Academia.
Oh, do you like it?
Sure. I mean,
I was gonna say, don't break my heart on this one, dude, please.
yeah, sorry. I really have to watch more episodes because no anime ever starts off like that. Like, well, most animes will start off that amazing.
Yeah, a lot of it's usually the first 3 are slow, and I make my judgment on like episode 4 type thing.
I mean, Erased and Future Diary start off pretty fast.
okay, that's a fair point.
That's why I like them.
They lit the fuse and fucking walked away.
Yeah. So stream also reporting here in the echo. I hear the echo too.
Oh shoot. Okay, let me just turn it down then.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's just to start off very, very anime, but I did like I can see where maybe it goes, and it's like a lot better than its typical anime. So I'm pretty excited about watching it. These Reapers.
This was a partially proxied attack that I think was hoping to get a lot more probe kills than it did. Trading out for a soccer or 2 wouldn't be bad either, but they didn't quite pull that off either. That 5 damage grenade, not so dangerous. And I don't think this particularly screws over Arctur for having done this, but it does mean that there's going to definitely be less at home. And while we saw ours making these moves several times in the series, I think the Protoss now have that decision to make. Like, do we just go commit because we know there'll be less on the other side of the field? And looks like they were attempting to Mothership Core attacking the Cyclone, but the pylon is immediately dealt with thanks to it. So Yellow's attack from Larry will not actually be that scary.
Damn it! This is actually a debit card. Ruined. Everything's ruined.
Can't you use this like a credit card in America?
Well, you can make the machine register it as a credit card and have to put in a PIN, but it doesn't actually act like a credit card. Like if you use a debit card, it takes directly from your checking account. Unlike a credit card, which builds credit, uses credit. Anyway.
Money.
So that makes me sad. I don't actually put a lot in this checking account, but whatever. Anyway, double Cyclone drop ends up taking out the Stargate potentially.
I think it will. I figure even if it comes home, what's it going to do? Lift up one, the other will still kill it.
Yeah,
So that's pretty bad loss. And of course, he pulled all the probes away to avoid the Cyclones as well. So on top of this, Larry's got no income right now.
Well, that was a pretty effective drop. Even though the medevac was taken care of and these have to die,
Yeah,
what they did.
Normally you don't see the actual Stargate go down. Pylon here, sure, a couple of units there, probes, but not a whole building like that. And beyond this, by the way, we got cloaked banshees coming out of the other Terran. There's an observer out there, so it shouldn't be so bad.
That could be dangerous. Of course, the Observer, it's in one position but not the other, and then that's where the Banshee really does the damage. We'll see what happens. So now the score is... Okay, yeah, no, I remember.
2-1 in the favor of the Protoss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the Terran definitely have to be doing damage like this. Banshee does come into Yellow's base, Larry's base.
I actually really like the idea of ganging up on Larry here. It's not about like that this needed to do some damage, but when you double down and really just cripple somebody like this, you know it takes them out of the game. And if you're playing 2v1 from that point onwards, more power to you. But looks like, wait, what was detecting?
There was an observer with the bishop quarter.
Yeah. Man, it's so good at being cloaked, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, she was hidden for a little while.
Meanwhile, it looks like the attack, it's pretty rowdy on the other side of the map. Stalker's forced an SCV pull. Actually, it's quite bad. Tank comes out in a second, it might get picked off.
I mean, this is some serious return damage for the Cyclone drop and the Banshee. The tank does pop out, but it's got to find a secure location to siege, and there is Blink, so it really can't.
Yeah, at this point, it might just be better off trying to, scoop it up. Banshee, if it gets a little more energy, might be able to cloak in and save this too. Oh, she doesn't cloak. Oh, that feels bad. Well, looks like Awers comes to save the day, so it shouldn't be the end of the game. And with 2 CCs up, this isn't so bad. Second one's not quite an orbital, and that much really sucks actually for the Terran, but 2 CCs better than just simply SCV losses.
Right, yeah. You know, you can reduce from that CC, so at least it's something. Sees at least there's an excess for T3nt, but Larry still, I guess, recovering from a lot of early game damage. Doesn't really have a lot to contribute. A couple Phoenixes will scout the move outs of ours. And it's kind of a scary move out if it gets sieged, so T3nt does want to go ahead and try and intercept that. Just doesn't have a very big army too.
Yeah, these Phoenix are dancing around, but they can't really do much. The Stalkers actually could have, if they sniped off that medevac, this kind of puts a dead stop to the push. So ours is a bit of a tricky spot. If he falls back, then he loses this ground he's gained. If he pushes forward, he risks losing it all. On siege tanks, doing some pretty good damage here. Yeah.
The combination of Stalkers and Phoenix actually end up stalling this push out. I don't know if it really was intended to go very far, but it should just back off now.
Yeah, minor drops going down to the bottom right while this went on. Worker count overall looks to be kind of weird, I'm going to say, across the board, right? Like, ours is the only one who hasn't taken some sort of harass, so of course his SCV count's the best, but everyone else is still hovering around like 21-something workers apiece. Gonna chase these Stalkers to get sandwiched from 2 sides of 2 Terran. Not a fight they necessarily want to take, so blinking away to fight one at a time, I think is the better option. Couple of Zealots getting in the mix. Hello.
pretty useless Zealots. Like, don't even really help the Stalkers.
Yeah, they don't really have charge or anything, so it's just a bit of a, I guess, cannon fodder. Yeah. One thing we saw out of Arctur before, though, that I am worried we may see out of him again is a lack of upgrades. Now, granted, that may have been cause and effect of the air game that I believe you missed out on, but late game Terran on 1-2 versus like a 3-3 Protoss is just not going to work out. So we'll see if he keeps up on upgrades this time around or not. Okay, yeah.
Phoenixes do have to be very careful. There's a ton of Marines, and I wouldn't mind. But things have calmed down a little bit. It's actually kind of a fairly large map if no one's going to be cheesing or all-inning with proxies. You can definitely expand like 4 times.
I'm actually a little sad right now because ours is going bio while this goes on, and I was hoping to see more mech out of him. But I guess versus Protoss, I can understand why he might not want to. These Phoenix are being a nuisance too, but he's doing a good job of keeping them at back and not letting them get away with too much. A lot of these are very low too, so if they dive in, some focus fire could be devastating, but this weird push comes down. There's not that much medevac support, but with a couple of tanks from one and a lot of bio support from the other, this might just be what they want to break their opponent with. Because right now, Larry's invested so much in these Phoenix, he really doesn't have anything useful to contribute. Keep in mind, guys, this is on the back end of losing that Stargate earlier too, so the Phoenix production isn't even as good as it should be at this point in the game.
Certainly enough that if they find the edges, I was going to say, the medevac, then that's good, but the Marines are definitely covering that, and I don't know, like, T3nt can't really take this entire army on by himself, and Even if pieces were a larger number, it'd be hard for them to help. There's just so many Marines.
Now it focuses down the pylon, shutting down the Robo and the Immortal. Fakes is coming from the backside to try and pick up those tanks, but not quite gonna work. The Marines are on guard, and he lost so many Phoenix too on top of this.
Well, things are not looking good for the Protoss players. This would tie things up 2-2.
Yeah, that'd be a good start to the day too. Really epic back and forth in this series, but yeah, they try to blink on top of the tanks. It's a no-go. There's too much bio protecting this. Every time the Phoenix lift them up, they get killed immediately. GG's. And we're gonna go to game number 5.
Oh boy. Everyone, this is Nugget. She was attacking my head during that battle.
She's just like, "What's up?"
Through the holes in my chair.
I love the way her paws are. It's so cute.
Yeah, she's so cute. When she tries to like sleep and be cuddly, she like can't find a good position, so she's always like bending backwards and like putting her head in like this and like a nook of your arm and just like she's crazy and she wants it still.
Melly would do this thing too where she'd always sit up and do that cat circle again and again and again. But alright guys, so I guess we're going to game 5, another quick commercial break, and then we get in here for map 5, final game of the series. Alright, we're coming back just in time to hop into the map, guys. Snowy Mess is going to be the final game here in the series. Bit of a funky map, we'll go over it in a moment, but attention has been drawn to Nurchio and BC selecting an official team name for themselves, and I fucking love it. It took me a moment, but on the bracket at the top side you can see where BC Cutie and Nurchio used to be is now the Slav Nation Army. I fucking love it, so good.
Salvation Army. You get it, guys? You get it? Funny.
But okay, it's game number 5. Things have been tied up 2-2, and on the south side of the map, we got our Terran brothers in arms, Awers and Arctur.
And in the top right, as the blue Protoss, it is T3nt and Larry. Hello.
Both teams doing pretty good for themselves, I gotta say. But as I mentioned, this map's a little bit more funky, and this has been around for a couple seasons, so if you guys have played any 2v2s, you've seen it before. But to be clear, because we've actually played against people on stream and they've done this, this is not your natural back here, as much as it might look like it. In fact, it is so disconnected from your base, you have to go all the way around the map to access it. But I've seen, and I'm not saying anyone here today would be as foolish or silly enough to do so, but I've seen random teammates as well as enemies take this as their natural because they spawned here and didn't realize. It's always so fucking funny seeing a random hatchery out there.
Okay, so I don't think I've ever actually taken it as a base, although I might have. But I've noticed the transit of my worker and been like, oh, just kidding. Wait a second. So
maybe it wasn't this map. I know that you did take a stupid natural on one of the maps we played though, and I was
I think I took, there was definitely a time where I took a third outside of the natural pocket. Like we were given like free naturals and I took the third instead, and I was like,
ooh.
Oh well.
Oh, this is kind of neat, by the way. Sorry. This is a really big open main, and of course you don't have a lot of scouting and a lot of detection, and the pylons likely won't be out this far this early, so if he lifts this factory up down here, there's a pretty good chance he gets to proxy Widow Mines.
That is certainly a potential. That would be awfully surprising. I would not expect it. We'll see if he actually does lift it. I mean, I'm kind of hoping he does, but could be for further proxies. Double Stargate. Wait for Larry. Does lift it. That's not gonna be scouted. Oh, well, okay, well he's gotten it closer to maybe being scouted by moving it, but still out of vision.
Yeah, it is very barely, but it is out of vision, and Mothership Core should spot this. Now, I'm not sure how much this makes this easier or not to deal with. The thing is, they should still be able to burrow in time to kill the Adepts, drive off the Mothership Core, buy some time for the second Widow Mine, then to come out and leapfrog forward. But that's where these Stargates, as well as that Robo, come into play.
I love seeing the pings, by the way. I think he just asked his buddy to help him defend it.
Oh, I can't see the pings, actually.
I didn't see it on the minimap. It was literally on the factory. There was a guard shield or whatever.
Oh. I guess I wasn't looking. But I kind of forgot. Yeah, there was. I remember in the past we used to have a thing where one of us could see pings and the other, and then we couldn't, and that's what I thought that's what that was.
No, I haven't seen a ping yet. I guess we're the same on that one. Well, anyways, this is not doing the damage it wanted, and it's not really distracting for a whole lot. I mean, a single Reaper is not a potent force, and it's just picked up.
Yeah. Oh, there's that ping. I can see. The attack thing. Okay, so that's neat. Of course, for those who don't know, Blizzard doesn't really put a lot of structure or care into like 2v2, not for balance, not for observing. Like it's a fun game mode, but there's not really that much competition around it. So when we do these once-off tournaments, we don't expect it to be perfect at all.
Yeah. Well, they did add the what are we just were talking about the pings, the multiple different type of pings. Like a long time ago, which I don't even remember them announcing. I just remember going into a 2v2 and being like, oh hey, like there's different pings like there is in League of Legends. It's the only thing I'd seen it in at that time.
The only time I've really found those pings useful at all, though, was like playing cross-server.
I certainly used them in like co-op and 2v2 or bigger team leagues, just because I don't want to type it. I don't think it really helps, though. I think if my partner's not there, he's not going to help me. But the idea is there.
I love this idea where you ping your bunker, right? He's like, well, I don't know, does she want me to defend it or attack it? Like, I guess I can take down her bunker for her. I don't know why she'd want me to, though. She could just salvage it. Like.
I think it was definitely more for the when you want to retreat, I think is more like important, so that your partner knows like, oh, we're not committing to this, which is certainly I think the one I've been using it for in co-op. Like, oh, we're just gonna ditch this. Just say goodbye. But anyway, I don't think they're really even using the pings. I think they are just like pinging the like the default one and saying, ah, that didn't work out. If you didn't notice, it sucked. And the factory's even found out, so it could produce it off a reactor. This is some good damage. And the Phoenixes could come and try and patrol and keep this safe too, but they're somewhere else.
Yeah, the Marines unloading one at a time into a depths is never really a great idea. So, kind of a hard start to the defense. With the turrets around though and the odd Widow Mines, these Phoenix, they're playing very cautiously. But it looks like the War Prison's been driven off, and he's even going to chase us with the Marines. It's dangerous to do this, same problem as before, unloading into the Adepts, but also because those Phoenix could come by at any moment and pick off that medevac, and realizing that he tries to pull back, but maybe a little bit too late.
Oh, I actually stopped dropping from the medevac. Yeah, that was a mistake. Not that the Marines would have lived, I don't think, but at least they would have had to be picked up.
Yeah, there was definitely some panic. While this goes on, though, the Widowmine catches another one of those Phoenix, so again, good shots going off, but my fear is that the other team is going to really get away with a lot while this is going on. You know, they're expanding really outwards this early, and, I mean, these guys are going to be locked into their bases for quite some time. Blue's going to take the gold by the looks of it, too, in the back.
Well, I think that Protoss definitely has a better setup in this game. Mass Phoenix has been proven to be quite good.
It's like not just that it's good too, it's like historically good in the matchup. Like since HOTS 2v2 tournaments we've been running, we've seen Mass Phoenix just be a unstoppable force.
They're a fantastic support unit that can, in larger numbers, be an army in its own right. So it's makes a lot of sense. I mean, combo to the different race is probably even better. But they both being the same races, there is some synergy there. I certainly think versus like Terran or Terran Protoss, Zerg Protoss, Zerg or something like that, two Terrans could go like bio and mech, but this is a really tough decision to make against Protoss. I don't really want to be going mech. And anyways, it's just like has to do with the beginning of the game. Of course, the proxy would have mind not working out, and no pressure until they get Stim and Medevacs means this was a lot of time for Larry to build up this Phoenix count and get to carriers apparently, and for his partner to expand to a gold and just continue on with his ground.
So he did this before, by the way. Mass Phoenix even went for the Onion Pulse Crystals. Mostly deal with Liberators last time, but still transitioning to carriers nonetheless. And that was the game just before you joined in where unfortunately the bio player had like no upgrades and Thors weren't cutting it. But this game, they're hitting at a pretty good timing with a very sizable army before those carriers are out. A lot of Widow Mines with this too, and upgrades not looking too bad for the Terran. They're both on +1. Larry actually has no upgrades to speak of whatsoever, and he's relying purely on these Phoenix.
Yeah, and that is certainly a weakness. I mean, even mass Phoenix would take a lot of damage from mass Marines. But the downside for the Terran players are going literally mass Marine. They're missing like a chunky Marauder unit. So the ground army maybe of 10 can be enough to help out, but it's like not the biggest, it's not the best upgraded, though it is on its way to 2-2, and it doesn't have any splash support. Certainly that something could have helped. A single Colossus, the Disruptor getting a decent shot.
No, what goes up on a probe? Not what he wanted to have happen. Chasing off the Phoenix, though, he's got to be careful. He starts getting really far away from his own ally. Leaving him abandoned like this could be bad. One of the beauties of these medevacs, though, is like they can heal each other's army. You can't pick them up, but you can heal them up. So this bio army out of ours that's weak with no medevac support can be greatly enhanced by being with Arctur. By jumping in the main like this, he does completely abandon that ship. Focusing down the Templar Archives, though, could have been a great pickoff if he had managed to do it, but he had to pull away, and unfortunately, that's going to still stand.
Yeah, it is, and the entire job's going to be cleaned up. It killed quite a few Phoenix, I want to say like 4, maybe 5. And that isn't bad, but it didn't really kill that many Stalkers, and it did lose all the medevacs, so in the end, it wasn't worth it. It still could have been absolutely slapped down if the Phoenixes were at home. They want her, again, going out in the middle of the map, but has the Red Force also left.
You know what, though? Larry forced to kind of ignore carriers. It's all just Phoenix and more Phoenix for the time being. We don't have that transition out of it just yet.
Well, that is now a pretty large ground force of Protoss army. It has Blink and Resident Glaives, and its 2-2 is finishing up.
What cloaking is this? Oh, it's Ghost Cloaking, okay.
Interesting. It uses all the Mass Adept. Well, and the Mass Phoenix, too. Like
I love this idea. You know, one of the biggest problems I think we see, a lot of Terran players would love to just EMP Phoenix, but the control of that plus stim plus splitting like is usually too much. If one player can just focus on the EMPs while the other's got the bio army, which is the case here, I think this could work out really well.
That's a bit too big. Not gonna go and transfer into that. I thought I saw a Robotics Bay, and we know we saw the Templar Archives. I guess he canceled the Robotics Bay, or maybe he got killed, or maybe I'm crazy, but he got the Templar Archives. So the point is, like, some type of splash is available to T3nt, and he's not actually going for it. I think it is, you know, it's kind of reaching a critical mass of just literally mass Marine. Otherwise, I say that I see a battlecruiser on the prediction tab. Okay.
Oh, please, God, let this be real. I'm praying. I don't think that's a correct unit choice, because he's got no upgrades for it. No Yamato, no nothing.
I think he's trying to build to a mass air army. I'm really not... I don't like it either without the upgrades, without, like, like more bases. I guess they're both on 3 bases,
well,
but still...
He's doing this on purpose, and he does it because he's got vehicle weapons, or excuse me, vehicle armor over any sort of weapons upgrade.
I would just honestly prefer, like, another pit stop on your way to battlecruisers first, like Mass Liberator or the Vikings to take care of the, you know, Phoenix or something.
Yamato's not energy based though. Like, my problem is not researching that is a huge mistake if you're building battlecruisers.
Yeah, I don't know about this transition. I think a transition of Ghost makes a lot of sense, and adding Liberators to your army is never like a bad thing for the Terran player.
I love the Ghost here. Like, a good EMP is gonna make this such a different fight.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna go for the High Templars. They were warped in, but if he goes for the High Templars, then maybe it's not the Phoenix. He still has an EMP.
I mean, just
it's gonna be hard to get on the Phoenix.
The auto attacks on the Ghost are gonna be good too. Like, that bonus damage versus light is actually gonna do a lot of damage to the Phoenix, range that the Marines don't actually have. But the Ghost looking for another EMP. Of course, the shields are mostly regenerated from that first one.
Oh, I see. Battlecruiser.
It gives no F's about this Phoenix damage whatsoever. It's like, I've got armor, dude.
But it's left alone, and it's like, yeah, you got armor, you got health, but...
Tactical jump, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure what's planning to do with it, dude. But the double drop, it's like the Doomy Doom drop, the super drop, and the main, both Terran players getting over here. Liberator set up on the ramp, gets picked up by the Phoenix, but you know, this production getting compromised for the Protoss is going to be tough to deal with. Battlecruiser set up too, and I'm really not sure what they're going to be intended to be used for, but right now it's just free damage. We can stoke a lot of shots too from both the Phoenix. Look at that! It's taking like no damage, blinks out of there, no problem.
It really doesn't take that much damage, that is absolutely true. The Adepts seem to be doing a good job against the Bio, though. Not good enough. That was a lot of Adepts, but that was like all of the Terran force. And
of course, there's still a frontal push goes on while this happens too. The reinforcements just walking through the front doors. That battlecruiser's still not dead. Liberators get the splash damage on top of the Phoenix. And Terran, they were in some trouble this game for sure, but they appear to have broken the Protoss.
Well, one huge Doom drop is definitely difficult to take care of. A lot of the forces going up that ramp, Liberators too.
GG.
Larry can't be feeling too good. I mean, as the Mass Phoenix player, you're kind of the one that's supposed to halt that from ever happening.
I'm not gonna lie though, like I'm very happy that Awers and Arctur won, mostly because I didn't want to worry about the potential drama of like Larry, just because of what is tied to his name, even if he is 100% legit, you know. But I thank them all for playing, and this will set us into the next series where Euthermal and a Laser have been waiting for quite some time. So I'm excited for this one because I think, you know, in any 1v1, I think a Laser and Euthermal beat Awers and Arctur every single time. But we've actually seen through past experiences, when that's normally the case, you can still lose in a 2v2.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
It is worth noting too, for those who don't know, like both a Laser and Optimus as well, but a Laser and Euthermal have competed in almost all of our 2v2 tournaments for Europe, so not often together, but we know that they know how to play team games. So this will be a tough fight for the team that just won, but we're going to follow them forward. So quick commercial break. Be back in a couple of minutes. I'll see you guys soon.